I had this creative idea as to how to talk about the different myofascial lines. So my idea was that I was going to be the skeleton, and it was really, really hard to find a skeleton suit, so I had to make my own skeleton suit, kind of. So this is just going to help me explain and hopefully show how the myofascial lines work and their posture and their movements. Just have to move my mouse. There we go. Okay, so we'll start with the back, the superfacial back line. So turn backwards. Hopefully you guys can see the back lines that I have drawn down my back. So that is your back lines. The back will support the body in full upright extension, and it has a much higher proportion of slow twitch fibers. The posture demands of the back requires that there be a heavier sheets and bands in the facial portions. So they'll be a lot stronger. In the movement, the superfacial back line will create extension and hyperextension. So a hyperextension, it'll pull back much further than you can go, and just an extension, if you go from here back up, is an extension. So that'll be all of your back. The front line of the myofascial lines, give me 1 second, I'm having the superficial front lines. The posture balance between the back line and the front line is what gives us our upright look, by the balance of the back and the balance of the front. So if they keep with equal tension, we will stay standing. They protect the visceral organs, so all these organs inside here, I didn't quite draw this line as well, but I guess it could have been a little wider. It'll protect, when these muscles are toned, it'll protect all the organs that are inside our body. Sagittal postural balance is primarily maintained throughout the body by either an easy or a tense relationship from the back and the front. The movement of your front line is for flexion of your torso or your trunk. So flexion, you will flex. This way is flexion. Also, it will flexion of your hips, so bringing your hips up. As you can see, these muscles right in here, the blue streak right here is your frontal, and this is your frontal as well. So these muscles in here will help to bring your hips into flexion. It'll also extend the knee, so you probably can't see it on that side. But I have my blue line coming here, my blue line coming here. This is all part of my frontal. So what it'll do is these muscles in here will help to extend your knee out. Yeah, it also contains higher proportions of fast twitch muscle inside the body. The lateral lines, if you can see them down, it's hard to do this, it's like doing it in a mirror. Down the side here, these are the pink lines. These are my lateral lines, and they balance between the front, the back, keeping us straight, and also from left to right, keeping that tension the same way the front and the back do. It fixes our trunk and our legs and coordinates us in a manner so that we do not have a buckling of joints. We stay straight and tall. The movement of the lateral line will be lateral bending, lateral flexion of the trunk, this will be lateral flexion of the trunk as well as hip abduction. So your hip abduction with the sides will be your hip abduction. It's also adjustable for, it'll be like a brake for when you're doing rotational movements. It'll help to stop you from moving too far. And the spiral line, I hope you guys can all see that. It kind of just spirals across and goes down. So just down there. The black line goes all the way down to the bottom. The spiral line will wrap a double layer. It does the back as well. I had a little hard time wrapping, but there's also a wrapping of the bottom of the back as well. It wraps the body in what's called a double spiral and maintains the balance across all the planes of motion. So if we have an imbalanced body, the spiral line creates and maintains the twisting and rotational and lateral shifts of the body so that we stay upright and tall. A dysfunction in our spiral line will affect the easy function of all of our other lines, of our lateral, our frontal, and our back. The movement created, it'll create rotations, so we can rotate. It'll also, with eccentric and isometric contractions, it'll help to steady our trunk and our legs and keep us from folding or rotating into a collapse. I don't know how to describe that one, but yeah, into a rotational collapse, so that our body will stay, our hips and our will stay in the right line. Functional lines were kind of hard to draw on here after I had already kind of drawn on myself. The functional lines involve muscles that are used in day-to-day. So your front functional line will be your pectoralis major muscles. It'll come down through your rectus abdominis as well. And the action is to bring your shoulder closer to the opposite hip. So you will be bringing, well, I'm just going to try my elbow, but shoulder just crossing the body. The strong postural stabilization functions in the position outside of the resting standing. So it will give us a strong postural stance, and it'll stabilize us when we're not in our resting standing position. So if we're in a different position, it'll help to stabilize us. For the movement, it gives us extra power and precision in our levers. So by making a lever longer, we can create more force. So with a kick, for instance, people will kick from their knee with just an extension. But by lengthening our lever and using the other side of our body to help us, we can actually create more force. So by bringing, the functional lines will also do the opposite shoulder to the opposite knee. So by bringing this arm up and using it to torque us this way, we will then use a long lever and a straight leg to have more force. When we kick something, even when we throw, we use we'll be using this arm to pull us across as we throw. And that's my explanation of myofascial lines. I hope you guys liked my little pajamas. And that's everything. Functional lines. Yes, our back and our front functional lines. So the back, as well as your latissimus dorsi, is a very large muscle that will stretch from here all the way down into here. It's very large, covering a lot of area, as well as your gluteus maximus, which is a very large muscle, some more than others. And that as well we use in day-to-day exercises, whether it's pulling something across the cabinets or opening doors even, and as well as sitting down even, to sit down and stand back up. We'll be using our gluteus maximus. So those are my functional lines. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that answered any questions. Have a good day.